I remember Blessed was one of the most influential people in Facebook in the sense that anytime I logged on, she had a positive message. So that stuck with me over the years. I've not been on Facebook for a while. We definitely connect from DFW, but I just wanted to give her flowers. You did awesome creating such a program. You know, a lot of people find it very hard initiating something, you know, but the good thing is if you initiate it like you did, you're going to find people who are willing, positive-minded, who are willing to get on board. I remember telling you that I work better behind the scenes, but look, you heard me get up here, which is okay. All right. So let me test this 1 second. Okay, good. All right, good. So the topic is resilience. And I just wanted to just give you a brief experience I had this morning. You know, your resilience, you know, the people around you, how do you, you know, see that they're resilient? Is it just you or is it somebody around you? So this morning as I was making my way here from Migori, I saw tiny little kids by the roadside. It's cold in the morning, it's 6 o'clock, but they're already by the roadside. You know, to me, that is resilience. You know, if a 4-year-old stands by the roadside by themselves without a parent, you know, by the time they get to Form 4, you know, hopefully they will have some resilience. All right? Joyce, is that your name? All right. So you touched me today. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. You know, people are struggling. You're so beautiful. You know, everybody somewhere is struggling with something. You have let me call you 1 GB. A lot of us want that. So thrive in that. You know, you have a nice body, not so much to worry about overweight, so that is your flower. You know, shine, shine, and go far away, okay? All right, so when you talk about resilience, I want to individualize this, because I believe it starts from you. It starts from me, myself, you know? And I want to say, whatever I want to do in life, what does it mean to me? You know, what keeps me awake at night? I'm just stating that simply. In the sense that when everybody else is asleep, you know, what is it that I'm thinking about? My husband would tell you that I'll say that I'm having a meeting with the ceiling board. It's me and myself and my God. So what is that thing that keeps me awake every single time? Then I move it to the people close to me. Because those are the people who will either create your dream or crush your dream. So those are the people you have to watch very carefully. When you share your dream, do they get excited about it? Or do they give you a negative vibe? Like, oh, you can't do that. You know, so-and-so has tried that, you can't do that. Or there's no money, you know, you just can't. So watch the people close to you, because those are the people who will create it or crush it. Next is society. I mean, this is an African-based, I would say, population in a way. You know, we cling so much to what society thinks of us, you know. For lack of better terms, I'm going to go in and say culture, you know. Culturally, is it okay for a female to do A, B, C, D? Is it okay for a young person to do so and such and such? So you have to think about, collect all of this, and then finally, try to get to a point where you ask yourself, does the meaning still remain the same after considering you, remember the first one, self, the people close to me, and society? To me, that is where resilience comes. Meaning that no matter what other people think, you're going to continue and do it because you've convinced yourself that it's good for you. I want to borrow from more like a business analysis or strategy, the SWOT analysis, and I want you to personalize this. And a reference to this would be Stewart 1963. So what are the strengths? You know, what do you consider yourself good at? You know, that is where you want to start. So, and most of the time, that is what gives you a lot of confidence in what you do. But then also remember, we all have weaknesses. So what are some of those things that are internal? You might not share with me, I might not share with you, but it's internal. It holds me back. Whether you believe it or not, I'm not much of a public speaker. I would do much better if I joined this group or I joined that group. But that's internal. I know that. If I was given an option, I would choose to be in a discussion group. But then, do I step out of my comfort zone? Yes, and that's why I'm here. And then what about the opportunities? Look around you. What are the opportunities that you have? If you're in school, do you have a library that you can go and study at peacefully and leave the chaos around your dormitory or around your friends? So then the library becomes your opportunity. Do you have a church that you can go to? And I'm acknowledging, let me say spirituality, because I know not everybody wants to go to a church. But do you have an opportunity to fellowship with people who are either like-minded or very positive? Because that will determine how far you go. And then the threats, meaning that as much as we are trying, we may have some external factors that come our way, and those are going to be there. It could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be family. Like I said, it could be somebody very close to you. Because remember, when we have people who are close to us, we always tend to try to please them, And if we can't please them, then we struggle with how am I going to tell them, But then, how much time does this take? Takes me back to my next slide. In that assessment that you initially made, did you provide a timeline for yourself? Did I say that in 5 years, I want to do A, B, C, D? Because if you do not have a timeline, then 15 years from then, and you may have interacted with older people who said, I wish I did this when I was young. So as you're doing that assessment, always make sure you try to keep up, put a timeline to it. And then the try concept is what I'm talking about now. So now the next thing I talk about is data. How much information is available? Have you done your research? And your research does not have to mean, does not mean having to get books to read about a topic. No, I can look at you, and that's where my research starts. I like your confidence. By the way, that's true. So that's my research on her. If I wanted to dig deeper, say I had an opportunity, you know what, I have an event coming. I'm going to read more about her, or find out from somebody. Is she an MC? Does she live in Nairobi? Can she travel? What's the deal? So that is where, you do your research in the sense that you want to capitalize on that assessment that you made. Is it really good for you? And, you also want to make sure that you direct yourself to something that's achievable. I was privileged to join this group. I don't remember what your name was. Confidence Speaks, just for a little bit. And then I stepped out. But I think at that point, you guys were talking about goals, having goals. I think whoever you're talking about, she had goals or, something about ambition and stuff like that. I just wanted to, just to piggyback on your point. So yes, goals, but let's make the goals smart goals, The first one is you want to make it specific. This is exactly what I want to do, Second, is it measurable? Once again, the timeline. How much time do you have to do it? And then you have to make it relevant. For instance, right now, this is not the time for me to say, you know what? I want to put music on a CD. Because it's not relevant with the times, right? You're either doing USB or Spotify or something else. And then also, time-bound, once again, the timeline. And the next thing you want to do is implement it, meaning do it. So let me just say, maybe borrow from Nike. Just go ahead and do it, Be patient. It's not, sometimes success does not come overnight. Be humble. Remember, the people that you interact with, it may just be, I'm going to just give an example. queuing for lunch or queuing for food, how do I carry myself? Do I come in and cut through the line? Because somebody somewhere is watching, Out of this group, somebody says, you know what, I really like her demeanor, or I really like his demeanor, or that gentleman held the door for me. So let's be humble, and then also show gratitude. Anybody, I'm glad that you guys are showing gratitude to Blessed. Show gratitude to people that help you, because believe it or not, we are all human. She's human, and when she's having a meeting with the ceiling board, she'll reflect on all the positive vibes that you gave her. Next thing I want to touch on is gaps. A lot of times, sometimes we fail to close the gaps in our lives. I was born, got raised, went to school and all of that. Say I graduated from college. Then, did it take me 5 years to get a job? The question is, what happened during that 5 years? And that is sometimes a question that you may even get from your employers. So how do you fill the gap? Because remember, I know life happens and we don't have jobs all the time or everywhere. I know life is tough, particularly in Kenya, so I can resonate to that. But then what are you doing to decrease the gap from the time you do your training to the time you get an opportunity? Do you just sit and wait for the white-collar job, or do you get a hustle to keep you through? And that's why I say, when did you do it? If you graduated, do your self-assessment. What have I done with my life for the past 10 years? If there's somebody, it could be Mama Mboga. Why? Sometimes I look at them and, I'm like, there's a reason why they're sitting there for all these years. Because they're able to bring food, put food on the table. I've talked about, making sure that you try to decrease the gap in your career paths. And then question is, how do you fill it? How do you fill in the gaps? We've talked about this today already, networking, mentorship, and mentorship goes both ways. You may be looking at somebody mentoring you, but you can also mentor somebody, So just think about it that way. Give and take. Don't just expect somebody to mentor you. You could mentor somebody. I'll give a brief experience I had this morning. These are family members. I would call them my niece and nephew. But we rode together this morning, and one of them, the girl was number 1, position 1. The boy was position 3. So in my self-assessment, I was not happy with myself because I've spent like 3 weeks with these kids, but I'm getting to know that today, So I feel like I've missed an opportunity to mentor them, So going back, I have to have a meeting with them and now give them goals. One wants to become a pilot, and then the other one wants to become a judge. So like I said, mentorship goes a long way, and it can happen anywhere. Okay. All right, so then I would say, just be open to shifting gears. I would brand myself as the queen of shifting gears. I can change my mind anytime. If it's not working, don't hang on to it. Ask yourself, how much time have you put in it? How much money have you put in it? Life happens, and I know what holds us back is what people will think. People will always judge, but keep going. These are the same people who will come out and say, wow, you did good. But watch them. Anytime you start doing something and somebody says, oh, when are you going to finish? When are you going to finish? When are you going to finish? So do it. Just go ahead and do it, but just know that it's okay to fall. Just get up and keep on going. All right? That's it. Thank you. You're welcome.